It's no secret to any of my friends that I love Pokemon. I play several Pokemon games just over and over again, barring a few exceptions. A lot of times I'll do challenge runs with just one Pokemon, so I've come to appreciate a lot of different Pokemon across many generations. If that sounds interesting to you, just go check out Mah-Dry-Bread later. But there's one game that I just don't hate, I don't have any huge glaring problems with, and I haven't sold to remove the sins of man from my hands, that I don't ever pick up, almost ever really, and I don't know why. That game, of course, being Pokémon LeafGreen, one of the Gen 3 remakes of Pokémon Red and Blue. Now, Kanto is one of my favorite regions to go through. It houses many of my favorite Pokemon, and I love the flow and design of the routes. I have both a GBA SP and a DS Lite, so I can play it anytime I want. So why don't I? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with these games that I just subconsciously remember that stops me from giving them a try again? I mean, I play through Pokémon Red many times over and enjoy it a lot, so what's the deal? Well, that's what I wanted to find out, so let's go on a couple of journeys as I take a deep dive into answering the question, are Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen worth playing anymore? Before my attention gets taken somewhere else again.
It's pouring rain in the Colosseum!
Let's get an idea of what sets these two games apart. Starting off, just look at them. Gen 3's take on the Kanto region and its Pokemon are absolutely solid. Still keeping a lot of the charm, FireRed and LeafGreen have designs nailed down compared to the suggestions of a creature that we had in Gen 1. Trainers are given clean looks and are no longer holding whips either, which is a nice change. But graphics aren't everything. A fresh coat of paint isn't really worth being released again. Yes, I know, this was at a time where Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon weren't available in Gen 3, because whatever, but this isn't the mid-2000s anymore. Now, Game Freak can't just release the exact same games years later with only a graphical update, right? Right? Well, there's no need to worry, because there's a lot of fundamental changes between Gen 1 and Gen 3, as you know, so let's go over them. Now, Gen 3 doesn't have Gen 4's physical special split for attacks, which is something that it shares with Gen 1, and that kind of offsets my mind because most other remakes have a physical special split, but Gen 3 doesn't, so it kinda lessens the value of having another Kanto game, but whatever, we can look past it. Now, I did release a video of pretty much every change in this section a little while ago before I got distracted. Regardless, I'll give a brief summary anyways. The Steel type and Dark types have been added in addition to general type rebalancings, like Fire types now resisting Ice type attacks like they did not in Gen 1. Magnemite and Magneton are also changed to Electric Steel, giving them an entirely different defensive profile. Shoring up the type oddities from Gen 1 really makes it feel like a different game. There are also new weather mechanics that spice up some of that interplay as well. Here's the real game changer though. All Pokemon now have at least one ability which should help them in some way inside and or outside of battle. As for their usefulness, it's a case-by-case basis. But all fully evolved Pokemon, except for Ditto, get new moves through Level Up, TM, and or Move Tutors. Now, this review is only in terms of a playthrough, so this is not going to necessarily reflect on competitive battling or the post-game, meaning anything after the Elite Four, which includes breeding and egg moves, will be ignored. There will be a section later about what the post-game can add to your journey here that I've very much phoned in, but whatever. Also, all Pokemon have lost moves in the migration to newer hardware, which hurts some more than others. Now, back in Gen 1, there was no special attack or special defense, only one combined special stat that acted as both. When your special was good, you had the whole world in your hands. When your special was bad, you were a Gen 1 fighting type. Hitmonchan, what happened? Water gun. I should also mention that Gen 1 games are held together by spit, string, and prayers, so glitches in the battle system are unavoidable. For more information on these little quirks and other Gen 1 stuff, I highly suggest checking out Big Yellow and Plague Von Karma, both also in the description next to Mah-Dry-Bread. Now that we've gotten that stuff out of the way, let's get into our first contestant.
From the blue corner,
We begin our journey by picking our brand new female character option, because why not, right? Look at her. Her name will be Magi, my lovely counterpart. We grab our Bulbasaur for old time's sake, and head off on our journey to defeat our rival, Brainer. Sadly, I might as well get this out of the way now. I love Venusaur, but he's not really a shining example of the changes made between Gen 1 and Gen 3, so he'll just be our assistant this time around. Let's get a look at the actual team I've chosen to go through the game with. First up is Gyarados. Gyarados has the awesome ability Intimidate, but my main reason for picking him is the large cut to his special attack, going from base 100 to base 60. Ugh. Intimidate and some great new moves are here to prove that Gyarados is far from outclassed and washed up due to having his special attack lowered. Next up, we have Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime doesn't seem to be that much different, but I'm going to say that Magical Leaf is a playthrough changer. In addition to the bonus 20 special defense, they are very nice. Third up is Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan is here on behalf of all fighting types, showing how Gen 3 gives the fighting type an actual fighting chance, with new moves and a buff to special defense all around. Hitmonchan being the biggest buff I've seen in base 35 to base 110 special defense. The back half of the team rolls up with Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl has a slight buff to his special defense from base 60 to base 75, but the big key here is that rock and flying type attacks actually exist for more than the select few elites from Gen 1. Now you know I had to put Magneton up on deck. Not only is he now electric and steel as mentioned earlier, but there's a compensation for it because he lost 50 special defense from base 120 to base 70. Let's see if Magneton is worse off for it. Rounding out the team is Tangela, who is also here because of a loss of special defense, this time 60 points from base 100 to base 40. And I don't really think that was necessary, but whatever. A team of half winners and half losers on paper, but I like my chances here. Maybe because I already played through them months ago. Anyways, we're off, and this will just be a sort of Cliff Notes version of my journey, as I didn't feel it was necessary to show a whole lot of stuff. Especially since we can't get any of our party members before Brock, so I just beat Brock with Bulbasaur and get Magikarp from the salesman outside of Mount Moon. Let's just head up to Cerulean City, where we'll cover one of the only glitches you can really use in FireRed and LeafGreen, the Infinite Nugget glitch. Here on Nugget Bridge, the Team Rocket Grunt gives you a nugget before challenging you to a battle. Now if you win, he'll just screw off, but if you lose and go back to try again, he'll give you another nugget. So you can do this again and again and again and again and again until you have a higher net worth than half of the towns in Kanto combined. Just catch some Pokemon to die over and over again, and wealth can be yours. Another difference to take into account is that Pokemon can natively be shiny in FireRed and LeafGreen, whereas Pokemon Red and Blue only have shiny Pokemon after transferring into Gen 2 and through Pokemon Bank on the 3DS. I conveniently found a shiny Metapod on this playthrough to prove it. Wish it was almost any other Pokemon since I already have one, but whatever. Now just south of here we can actually catch Meowth, which can have the ability Pickup, which finds random items to use or sell later. Rare candies are what we're usually looking for, but there's also the TM for Hidden Power. Depending on a Pokemon's IVs, it will have a different type and a different power, but who cares? I just so happened to find one early on, so let's go get my second Pokemon before I use it. Over through Diglett Cave onto Route 2, where we have to trade to get our Mr. Mime. Gen 1 Psychic types are strong, and we'll have Magical Leaf later. So Mr. Mime is almost a definite must, a great choice. Hidden Power time! Mr. Mime has HP Bug, which is physical pre-Gen 4, so that's a hard pass. Let's see what Gyarados has. HP Ground? That's awesome! It almost entirely makes up for the fact that we don't get Body Slams at TM from the SSN in Gen 3. Or at least for Gyarados anyways. Here's an example of something that Gen 3 has over Gen 1. It runs much smoother, especially with the rocket-based spinning puzzle. Where Gen 1 has the occasional slowdown in and out of battle, all that's pretty much cleaned up here in Gen 3. This also affects the slot machines in the Celadon Game Corner. If your timing is awesome, then you can win big more easily here, though it feels that there's no saving factor like Gen 1 has. I swear I hit it like 5 times in a row after this recording, I swear I did. Also, we have double battles scattered across the map. I absolutely love double battles, and while they're not everywhere, I'm at least glad to have some of them here. Looping back to Celadon City for a moment, the quest to give a drink to the Saffron City guards has been changed to have you get some tea from an old lady in the condominiums, so you can save some of your overflowing fortune. Now that Saffron City is open, let's go get Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan has been completely overhauled from the depths of other people's dex filler to a formidable threat thanks to it actually getting more than one attack worth using in Gen 3. While it got a beautiful special defense buff, its usual special attack is still here, and that means that the elemental punches are still out of the question. But this one has Hidden Power Flying, which is kind of neat. We take the opportunity to barrel through Koga and the other gym leaders, and we have access to Surf, and access to the other half of our team, so let's get them as well. We got the old Amber from the Pewter City Museum a while back to give us Aerodactyl, the biggest glow-up out of all of the fossil Pokemon. Flying and Rock-type moves actually existing in his move list means that we've got a beast on our side. Hidden Power Electric isn't one of the moves I chose to run though, but it's interesting to have the option. Out east in the power plant we find Magneton, who's Electric Steel, as mentioned earlier. No Steel type attacks this time around, but Magneton absolutely bangs, so it doesn't need it, or the HP flying it gets. Finally, swinging below Pallet Town is Tangela, who doesn't have much going on for him in Gen 3 to be honest. Lost a lot of special defense for no reason, but I gave him Thief for some actual coverage instead of HP flying. Why did half of my team have HP flying? How did half of my team have HP flying? Anyways, Magneton shows his bangerness by tanking through Sabrina's psychic types as we return to Cinnabar Island to get all of Blaine's questions wrong. I blew through Giovanni so that I can get into the largest part of my time here, grinding for the Elite Four. After using the move deleter and getting the move lineup ready, it's time to wear out our new little device, the Versus Seeker. The Versus Seeker allows you to refight some trainers across the routes, and the best of which being the bikers at the top of Cycling Road. You get more experience from fighting trainers Pokemon than wild Pokemon. Don't think this'll fix your problems though. You'll be here a while, challenging and going back to heal and challenging some more, and challenging some more. Do you even think he cares about what he's done to us? Yeah, you're probably right. How'd you like that thing? After going through Victory Road following our grind, I gave everybody a chance in the Pokemon League, finishing off our rival Brainer with Aerodactyl for a file time of 32 hours and 51 minutes, half of which was spent grinding on Cycling Road. Honestly, I don't immediately know why I haven't actually played through LeafGreen in so long. Besides getting exhausted by the end of grinding, I actually really enjoyed my time going through the game. Hitmonchan, Aerodactyl, Mr. Mime, and Gyarados had awesome type coverage, so actually being able to use them effectively was a blast. However, there's another contestant that's here to show what a Kanto journey is supposed to be.
And from the red corner...
Now, originally when I was planning this video, I was actually going to do 4 playthroughs. One regular run and one glitched run of each game, but really all the helpful glitches in Gen 3 was just the Nugget Bridge glitch. However, anyone that's seen a Gen 1 game knows they are one weird look away from becoming a liquefied Game Boy cartridge, so I just decided to show off some of what's possible here. But before that, let's pick our character. Oh, right. Hey, Gramps, do you know what's up with Red? He hasn't spoken in like 3 weeks. Well, if what had happened to his girlfriend had happened to yours, I don't think you would be in a talking mood either.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.
Anyways, let's head off with our key to the entire Kanto region. My son. The guy stopping you from going east before fighting Brock is only really suggesting that you don't go on. In fact, you don't even have to fight Brock, period, but we need the experience for our Magikarp, and where's the fun in skipping him? But we can go get our Magikarp and an Abra for teleport, so that we don't get trapped while exploring. But how am I going to get past him? Well, there's a glitch called Brock Through Walls, which is far too complicated for me to explain, since I have to look it up every time I replay Red and want to do it. It's something about the PP and move order on Bulbasaur here. I don't really understand it, but you can figure it out. Anyways, we can get EXP for Magikarp from Brainer and Brock, thanks to Bulbasaur. Welcome back to Nugget Bridge, everybody. We've got Spearow ready for some more therapy, so let's get some nuggets to cover the bills. Oh, only 1 nugget. Even though I lost. I don't think he'll fight me now. Well, whatever. This bridge is home to much more than some nuggets. We have another glitch on the docket. Now thanks to Abra's teleport. This glitch being called the Mew glitch, or Trainer Fly, if you prefer much more boring names. Now, all NPCs spawn in looking down, which messes with certain trainers that have very long eyesight. You'll have a small window of time to pause before they can turn around and look at you and challenge you to a battle. Now, you can use Fly or Teleport to warp away, and the trainer will notice you as you go up to meet God. After returning, you can't talk to people or pause the game, but you can fix this by finding another trainer to fight. It's very important to have the trainer walk up to you, because if you don't, you'll softlock yourself and have to turn the game off. Upon going back to the route where we originally did the glitch, we're bombarded by a wild Pokemon. Now this Pokemon isn't random. It's generated based off of the special stat of the last Pokemon that you fought, meaning that you can have almost endless possibilities, one of those being the fabled Mew, hence the Mew glitch. And here's a chart of all Pokemon you can get from the Mew glitch. What? Can't see anything? Yeah, this sucker's pretty big. I'm sure you can find the original on Google or somewhere, and other YouTube videos can probably get you some more information about it. What really interests us out of the list is, of course, the Pokemon I want for our team, but also being able to encounter Missing No. Now, Missing No is a place filler for a Pokemon who was removed from the game's data, but the internal index number still exists, meaning Missing No appears, gathering garbage data to create a Pokemon so that the game doesn't crash. One quirk of this, though, is that the 6th item in your bag has a large amount added to it, giving me Flower D Rare Candy, Rock D4 Body Slam TMs, or Static D9 Thunderbolt TMs. Selling off the excess items, I had well over 420,000 Pokéyen before the 3rd gym and 8 hours on the clock. Anyways, we can catch our own Mr. Mime through the Mew glitch and head on to Lieutenant Surge. Now here I was gonna contrast not having Hidden Power Ground would make Lieutenant Surge's electric types impossible to take on, but Voltorb died in one hit, Pikachu died in one hit, and Raichu somehow hit a high roll Thundershock for 51 damage, and then a low roll of 44 to leave Gyarados on 1 HP, and to get the win. And Raichu has Thunderbolt. I'm guessing Blaine was the one that had to brief Lieutenant Surge on this whole gym leader gig. Either way, we can pick up Tangela in Lavender Town through the Mew glitch and spend the next 8 years buying coins from the Celadon Game Corner, because you can't buy them 500 at a time like you can in Leaf Green. I'm here to get the TM per Hyper Beam, so maybe I can gamble. Now, Gen 1 slot machines are weirdly intricate, with what machines are lucky, and there's also a so-called super lucky mode that you can figure out for yourself in another video. They don't seem to be as timing based as Gen 3's, as I swear to everything possible that I hit the 777s so easily, and it screws me over so many times. However, there's a system where if you're off by a bit, the slot might click over a handful of panels to maybe give you a win, or more likely it'll click past what you needed and you lose anyways. I'd like to take a moment to say why I want Hyper Beam, a usually gimmicky and awful move. Well, in Gen 1, Hyper Beam doesn't have to recharge on the turn you kill your opponent, making it one of the best moves for any relatively physically focused Pokemon. And some Pokemon don't really have many other options. Body Slam was also found back on the SSN, which is a great reliable move that can't paralyze normal types in this game, due to a little programming where moves of the same type as the Pokemon cannot status that Pokemon. You know, electric types can't be paralyzed by Thunderbolt, Fire Blast can't burn a fire type. A little side effect of this is that Body Slam can't paralyze normal types. Whatever. Of course, a couple Missing No trips later, I have as many of my TMs as I could ever want, so everybody gets what they need. Let's blitz through our party a little bit here. We claim Hitmonchan as our prize from the Saffron City Fighting Dojo again. There wasn't any moves to get from catching our own, so this'll do. We revive the old Amber fossil from the Pewter City Museum on Cinnabar Island and surf down east to the power plant for our pure electric type Magneton. Speaking of Cinnabar Island, there's a neat little thing about the coastline on the right here. You can encounter Pokemon on the strip here, but there's no encounter table to pull from. You can use this to your advantage, as it actually will pull from the last area you were in that has wild Pokemon, including the Safari Zone. Now, instead of Chansey escaping every Safari Ball and running away, you can try surfing here for over 20 minutes and not find one to record proof that this exists, but whatever. I don't need to go over the last little bit here, as I'm sure we've been here a lot longer than I expected, so let's check into the Pokemon League. Things are a little different around here. Tangela's Mega Drain does a large amount of damage to Bruno's Hitmonlee due to it having paper-thin special. Our Hitmonchan can't hardly fight Agatha's Ghost types, since the only move he learns that can hit them is Seismic Toss, and Gyarados' Blizzard has 90% accuracy, and makes quick work of Lance. Now, let's see if our team can actually beat Brainer this time around. Half of our team are empowered by certain moves and better special stats, while others are having awful move pools and worse special stats, leading to more damage taken, but I think I can do this. Brainer time! Gyarados takes care of Pidgeot without getting hit because Mirror Move missed. Alakazam uses Recover on full health because thank you Blaine, and dies to Hyper Beam. Rhydon just drowns. Executor gets frozen by Blizzard and gets dealt with fairly easily. We come unscathed in Gyarados on Gyarados Violence with a crit Thunderbolt, and Charizard decides that the first damage dealt from the opposing side is from Rage, thereby forfeiting any chance of life and Brainer winning because Rage is awful. Well, so much for the team angle this time around, but Gen 1 Gyarados is freaking amazing. We end our journey with 17 hours and 46 minutes, and more money in our pockets than some regions have as a whole nation. Well, I've had an amazing time, so let's get on to the final thoughts. Oh yeah, that. Fine.
Wrapped up and taken down.
Now, if you plan on playing through FireRed and LeafGreen, you might want to play through the postgame content if it's your first go or if you just like it. I personally didn't have any interest in it, but for the sake of fairness, you can go check out Lyra Made a Website's video going over the Sevii Islands, Gen 3 Kanto's postgame. The video is amazing, so if the Sevii Islands or just new Pokemon knowledge interests you, I highly recommend it. Now you can entirely skip anything Sevii Islands related when Bill asks you after beating Blaine, if you don't care about the detour. It's obviously more than Red and Blue, having just the legendary birds and Cerulean Cave housing Mewtwo, but I mainly just go through the main game on extra playthroughs. Heck, when I do my personal challenge runs of Johto games, I only go through Lance because I can't be bothered to go through Kanto.
It's down and out.
Okay, so let's go through our original question and see if we've got an answer. Are Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen worth playing, especially over Pokémon Red and Blue? Well, FireRed and LeafGreen are extremely solid. They look quite nice, and they've shored up several inconveniences and programming mistakes from the originals. The type chart is expanded and refined, in addition to the changed special attack and special defense system, making the disparity between the worst types and best types slightly reined in. This is further bolstered by several types getting new moves and Pokemon of those types actually having move list with coverage more than normal type, which is freaking amazing to experience. While a lot of abilities aren't going to save or destroy a Pokemon's usability in this game, besides maybe Gengar, Weezing, and the Intimidate squad, they are a great addition. Now, I can't say that they completely replace Pokémon Red and Blue as my Kanto game of choice, but I have a much greater respect for these games now. I just usually find the myriad of Pokemon options I have through Brock Through Walls and the Mew Glitch greatly enhance playthroughs and challenge run variety, and I'm a sucker for Body Slam. Honestly though, I'm not going to tell you not to play one of the actually good Pokemon games. These two games offer different enough experiences that I genuinely recommend playing through both. I think the only thing holding me back from playing through LeafGreen more is that I prefer how my 3DS feels compared to my GBA or DS Lite, but that shouldn't and won't hold other people back from giving Gen 3's Kanto the chance it deserves. I want to genuinely thank anyone that has watched this video. It means a lot to me, and I am very proud of it, and I've enjoyed just doing this project by myself. I might do more videos like this for the other remake games if I feel like it, but I know they're gonna be a lot more work than this one. I will just have to see. Regardless though, please go check out all the people I've linked down in the description. They are wonderful to watch, and I really hope that you have an awesome day. I think that's it for me. Thank you.